The dream of owning a luxury car often evaporates the moment the first major service bill arrives. There exists a peculiar category of automobiles where the ongoing maintenance and repair costs dwarf the original purchase price, transforming what seemed like a sophisticated investment into a financial bottomless pit. These are not vehicles designed to be economical. They are engineering masterpieces, where every component comes at a premium. Every specialist requires a PhD-level education, and every repair seems to necessitate the removal of the entire drivetrain. The most notorious example in modern automotive history is the Bugatti Veyron. When it debuted in the early 2000s, this hypercar represented the absolute pinnacle of engineering excess. A quad-turbocharged 16-cylinder engine producing over 1,000 horsepower, a top speed exceeding 250 miles per hour, and a price tag of nearly $2 million. However, Bugatti's engineering philosophy extended far beyond the purchase price. The Veyron wasn't just expensive to buy, it was engineered to be phenomenally expensive to maintain. The tires alone cost $10,000 per set, and given the performance characteristics of the vehicle, they needed replacement roughly every 10,000 miles. That's $1,000 per 1,000 miles just in tire wear. The engine requires a complete teardown and rebuild every 10,000 miles. This isn't a simple oil change. Technicians must remove the entire engine, disassemble it completely, inspect every component, replace worn pieces, and reassemble it with precision measured in fractions of a millimeter. A single engine rebuild costs approximately $25,000. When you combine tire replacement, fluid changes, brake servicing, and routine maintenance, the annual cost of operating a Veyron approaches $500,000. For many owners, this exceeds the car's original purchase price within just 3 to 4 years. Bugatti even included a service requirement in the ownership terms: your car must visit the factory for major service or you lose warranty coverage. This means flying your hypercar to France, paying for transportation, accommodation, and labor rates that reflect the extreme specialization required. Some Veyron owners have reported spending more on maintenance in a decade than they paid for the car itself. The Ferrari LaFerrari presents a similar nightmare from a financial perspective. While slightly less expensive to purchase than a Veyron, the maintenance costs are equally catastrophic. The hybrid system combines a V12 engine with electric motors in an arrangement so complex that only Ferrari-certified technicians trained specifically on that model can perform service. A major service runs $60,000. The carbon fiber bodywork is constructed from materials so specialized that damage repairs require sending components back to Italy for reconstruction. A small crack in the body can cost $40,000 to repair. The brakes are carbon ceramic composites that cost $30,000 to replace. The battery in the hybrid system requires specialized diagnostic equipment that exists in perhaps a dozen service centers worldwide, and a battery replacement approaches $100,000. Ownership experiences reveal the true cost of exotic maintenance. The Ferrari owner documented his 5-year ownership experience, spending approximately $1.2 million on maintenance for a car purchased at $3 million. The primary reason was a gearbox failure, requiring complete replacement at $400,000. Another owner needed new carbon ceramic brake rotors, which cost more than many people spend on their entire vehicle. The documentation systems in these cars are so complex that even routine diagnostics require computers that cost more than luxury sedans. The Lamborghini Veneno exists in similarly rarefied air. As an ultra-limited hypercar, parts availability is nearly non-existent. When a Veneno required a headlight replacement, the dealership quoted $90,000 because the entire light assembly is custom-built carbon fiber integrated with the chassis. A paint job following accident damage required specialized carbon fiber preparation and 20 different layers of custom paint, costing $150,000. The transmission synchronizers wear quickly due to aggressive driving, and replacement requires completely removing the gearbox, disassembling it, and reassembling it, a process taking dozens of hours at specialty rates. Even some nearly expensive luxury cars exhibit this phenomenon. The Rolls-Royce Phantom, while priced at around $450,000, develops maintenance costs that eventually exceed the purchase price. The vehicle's complexity is intentional. Every surface is hand-stitched leather, every component individually engineered. A simple brake pad replacement requires visiting an authorized Rolls-Royce service center, where labor rates start at $1,000 per hour. A complete brake system overhaul costs $50,000. The vehicle's air suspension features handmade components that must be individually calibrated, and any suspension work approaches $75,000. The Bentley Continental GT Speed represents another example where maintenance becomes prohibitively expensive. The W12 engine alone requires specialized knowledge. Transmission problems necessitate complete replacement rather than repair, costing $100,000. The vehicle's adaptive air suspension, while providing extraordinary comfort, becomes astronomically expensive when it malfunctions. One owner reported spending $300,000 over 8 years on a vehicle purchased for $200,000. The numerical reality became unavoidable. He was literally paying to maintain the privilege of ownership. The Mercedes-AMG SLS, with its gull-wing doors and dramatic engineering, features door mechanisms so complex that a single door replacement can cost $50,000. The active aerodynamic components require annual servicing costing $15,000. The brake system uses carbon ceramics priced at $20,000 per set. High-performance suspension components designed specifically for track use wear rapidly in normal driving conditions, and complete suspension overhauls exceed $100,000. What creates this maintenance cost catastrophe? Several factors converge. First, extreme specialization means only certified technicians trained on specific models can perform service. You cannot take a Veyron to your local mechanic. You must go to the factory-authorized dealer. Second, components are engineered for performance rather than longevity. Tires designed to handle 1,000-horsepower acceleration wear quickly. Brakes engineered for extreme stopping power degrade rapidly. Third, parts availability is severely limited. When you need a component for a car that only 300 were ever made, it must be specially manufactured, and that manufacturing run begins only when your specific car needs it. Finally, complexity itself becomes the enemy. A simple seal failure in a supercar's hybrid system might require removing half the vehicle to access, turning a $10 part into a $10,000 job. The psychological impact on owners cannot be overstated. Many hypercar owners describe the experience as ownership through fear. You cannot drive the car without worry about maintenance costs. A stone strike could necessitate $50,000 repairs. A simple fender bender might total the vehicle because the damage assessment reveals deeper issues that make repair uneconomical. Some owners eventually choose to leave their cars in climate-controlled storage rather than risk the maintenance expenses that ownership demands. There's a cruel irony in these vehicles. They represent the absolute cutting edge of automotive engineering, the mechanical embodiment of human ambition and technological capability. Yet this same engineering excellence, when applied to exotic materials and extreme performance, creates maintenance costs that even wealthy owners find difficult to absorb. A surgeon or investment banker can afford a $2 million purchase price, but can they absorb $500,000 annually in maintenance? Most cannot, and yet the car demands it. Insurance compounds the problem. A Veyron costs $100,000 per year to insure properly. Storage, transportation, and specialty fuel add further expenses. When you total these costs, a hypercar owner might spend $2 million to buy the vehicle and $5 million over the following decade simply to maintain and insure it. The purchase price becomes almost incidental, a mere entry fee into a world of expense that never ends. The solution some owners have found is simply to drive their cars minimally. One Veyron owner drives his car perhaps 500 miles per year, specifically to avoid the maintenance costs triggered by actual use. Another Bugatti owner keeps his vehicle in a climate-controlled vault and never drives it, viewing it purely as an appreciating asset. This represents the ultimate admission: the car is too expensive to use for its intended purpose. It becomes a sculpture, an investment, a conversation piece, anything but a functional vehicle. The lesson for potential ultra-luxury car buyers is stark and unforgiving. A $3 million hypercar might cost $6 million to own over the subsequent decade. A $200,000 luxury sedan might cost $4 million to own over the same period. The relationship between purchase price and maintenance cost is not linear. It accelerates exponentially as complexity increases. The most expensive cars to own are not necessarily the most expensive cars to buy. Sometimes, the worst financial decision you can make is purchasing a masterpiece of engineering that was never designed with affordability in mind. The true cost of luxury is often hidden in the maintenance invoices that arrive years after the initial purchase, reminding owners that with extreme performance comes extreme expense, and that some dreams, however beautiful, come at a price that extends far beyond what any purchase agreement reveals.